Hi there, Caption Ad. This is a free SEO audit for your website. My name is Jaden, and so this is a free audit for you. I'm trying to keep this within 15 to 20 minutes, the longest 30 minutes, to just give you an overview of what I found on your website that is hindering or stopping your organic performance on Google. So this is going to be unedited, so you can see me, walking all this live with you. So the first thing I look at usually is the design of the site, because a lot of times a website is not performing well, could be because of design issues. So that one thing we want to get that factor out of the way first. And from the way of how it looks, the design looks really good. So that is one checkbox that is being marked. So the next thing I look at is the audit, is the URL structure. So if you look at the bottom left hand side, I'm trying to look for anything that is weird. The URL structure, if I'm able to find this, if I'm able to find one kind of like weird URL structure, is typically going to be the same with the rest of the pages. So essentially what I'm looking for is I'm looking for patterns. So it seems like it's fine. Because I'm not seeing any weird patterns from here. So the second thing I like to look at is in the website's profile, because a website's profile will give us a bit more information. So if it's a new site, generally with SEO, you're gonna see the results of SEO, whether how aggressive you are, how much resources you're pumping into SEO. If it's a new site, generally it's going to take a bit more time as compared to if it's an old site. Say for example, if a website has been around for 2 years, or maybe even 1 year to 3 years and things like that. So typically a newer site will see SEO performance slightly later as compared to an age site. So the niche of the website also plays a part. So in this case, because this niche is it's not within a sensitive niche, so that will be not too much of a factor. Now what I do notice is this website has been around for since 2021, so this is what I would consider a relatively new site. So over this phase, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to collect as much information as I can about the website's profile. So there's a new site, design looks good, and then you guys are already getting some sort of links, which is decent to see. Now I just want to check out organic keywords. So caption, and again, I have no idea what kind of keywords you should be going after, because that will come in from the keyword research point of view. But this is just fundamentally to check what is stopping the website from, or what could be stopping the website from doing well. Okay, and again over here I'm just trying to see for more information. So it seems like there's already some form of backlinks, and so I want to see what kind of backlinks are these. And usually, because there's a lot of backlinks, I like to clock in. I like to select the one link by domain, so I know what domains, and then just overall just seeing what kind of links these are. So Eventbrite, so this is an event-based educational. And then Science Times. Yeah, so these are kind of like PR releases, which is fine. Wiki backlink. Okay. Productivity tip. Okay, let me just go in and take a look at these. Okay, so this is a UK link. This is a speaker link, so kind of like PR related. This is highly likely a guest post. Yeah, this is going to be highly likely a guest post. So it seems like this site is already doing some form. Yeah, this is definitely a guest post or a bot post. So it seems like this caption ad is already doing link building, which is good. And I'm not looking at and I'm not going to go into the in-depth detail of what, whether are they building the correct links and things like that. So again, this is just kind of like the first layer of analysis. So with that being said, now I want to look at just how the site is in terms of technicality. So 38 results. So it seems like it's a website that doesn't have a lot of pages, which is okay. And then they have, so you CaptionNet has, this is, let me move myself to the side. So this is a issue you see when you're using WordPress and when you get plugins that are not updated or they are not secure. So if I'm not wrong, this is on a WordPress CMS. Let me just double check that. Okay, so this is a Japanese keyword hack. Okay, the site is loading relatively slow, so that is an issue. Yep, so site speed is definitely an issue. Yeah. Huh, okay. So incognito works fine. So it could be caching issues. It could be not. But again, this phase in time, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to gather as much information as much as I can. So this is kind of weird. Okay, so just to double check, this should be a WordPress site. Yeah, it's on WordPress. Okay, and usually this kind of thing you just need to update. You just need to update your plugins and make sure that the plugins that you have, it's not, try not to use plugins that are not verified in a way. If you see plugins that is very low in reviews and things like that, you want to avoid those kind of plugins. Yeah. So a few things that I'm seeing. So you can see here, this is a PDF that doesn't have anything. Okay. So it seems like something is wrong with my browser. So usually, unless you want to rank for this PDF, unless you want this PDF to be ranking for something, most of the time you want to de-index these pages. Okay, de-index meaning to say you want to remove these pages from Google, and the reason why is because if you see these pages, right, typically with PDF pages, they are generally thin in content. Okay, something is wrong with my, I'm not sure if something is wrong in my browser or something wrong with the caching issues. Huh, okay, this is really weird. So with PDFs, you see, usually these have very little content. So the best way to deal with these kind of pages is just to no index them, because if you remove these pages off from Google, you're essentially removing pages that have little value in terms of search engine value, because with search engine, they value how search engines value pages are typically they look at things that they can see, and usually things that they can see are words, page titles and stuff like that. With PDFs, how PDFs are structured, it's almost impossible for you to I want to say almost impossible, but you won't be optimizing the PDFs for the header ones, or you won't be ranking these PDF pages. So generally you just want to no index these pages, and unless you are going to rank for this page. So even though this is a very thin page, okay, you can see this website has less than 38 pages, could be more, but you want to take care of your pages as soon as you can. So this way, when the website blows up, when the website adds in more content, it's a lot easier for you to manage. Because if you start now versus if, let's say, you add another 50 content or add another 100 pages, if you do it then you're still able to do it, but then it's kind of like you are the problem is kind of like delaying it to a later point. So fix it now, just fix it right now. Okay, so that is that. So then I'm going to look at some privacy policy. These kind of pages are okay. Let me go and take a look. So because of okay, so I can see one here already. So you can see your category pages. I think there's something wrong with the caching. It's kind of weird. So you can see this is a category page. Now, there are pages that you don't want Google to index, and there are pages that you want Google to index. With these kind of pages, because these are pages that are kind of like archive, where it's a collection of posts, ideally these pages you want to no index them. And the reason why is because with these kind of pages, right, the profile of these pages are just a collection of pages, hence archive, right? And unless you are specifically trying to target this category page, there are not much things that you will be optimizing, right? So the real kind of like the real factor of whether should you be no indexing or should you be removing this page from search engines, it's, are you going to rank for this page? Is there a specific keyword that you're going to rank on this specific category page? Most of the time it's no. Now, most of the time doesn't mean all of the time. Most of the time it's no. So with these pages, you want to no index them, because you can see the content, there is not a lot of content, right? And you can see like this is an archive, so generally you won't be ranking for any keywords here. So this is one category page. Now if I look at this is new features, so I'm pretty sure there's gonna be different category pages. So yeah, this is another category. Okay, and earlier on, like I mentioned, you want to fix this ASAP, because if you imagine this, the more categories you have, the more, if you don't take care of this right now, the more category you have, the more it's going to bloat up your entire site. And if your website has 50 pages, you want to make sure that of 100%, you want as much as you can, very little duplicated content, or you want unique content. So if your website has only 50 pages, that 100% of 50 pages, if let's say you have 10 pages that are pages like this, then there's going to be, you know, almost 20%, I think, that it's considered unique content or duplicated content. So you want to deal with this ASAP, because the more category pages you add, the more duplicated content or non-unique content you're going to be adding to your site. So now, from the looks of it, it seems like there's only 2 category pages. So that's awesome, which is not a big problem to tackle now, but you want to solve this ASAP. You want to solve this early. Okay, now let's see what else can I find. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this page. Okay, I'm not sure if it's your caching issue or it's my browser. I don't think it's my browser. Let me see. Doesn't seem like it's my browser issue. If this issue happens for users that have already visited your site, you might want to take a look at it, because it could be a browsing or a caching issue, and this will really affect user experience. But again, it could be on my end, so I'm not sure. Okay, let me just take a look. So this is an ultimate guide And what I'm looking at is the design of the page. Really like the design. Everything is within the column. Okay. This is okay. This is fine. Okay, now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the on page. Okay, it seems like your title is decent. Description is decent within the length. Okay, I'm going to see if I can give you detailed tips. But let me just look at what has been set up first. So H1 is here. Okay, I'm kind of like analyzing your site as I'm, the moment I reach your site. So, okay, so the first thing, right, is you can see your title. Okay, let's skip the title for now. You can see your URL. So you can see the URL over here. Okay, now generally with URLs, we want to keep it as short, as sweet, as much as possible. So there's a few ways that you can go around creating content. You can either come up with a keyword research first, and have a list of keywords, and then you can build your content based off on that keyword. That's first. Secondly, it's the other way around. So you think of a topic that your potential customers will want to see, and then what you do is you then think of, so once you have that topic, say for example this is the ultimate guide, right? The next thing you want to do is you want to do keyword research to see whether is there a keyword that you can map to this specific topic, because you want to be as your keyword research needs to be on point as much as possible, which means to say the piece of content that you're writing, you need to map it to a keyword. And in this case, you can see the URL. The URL is the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcriptions. Okay, with URL, the best practice is you want to keep it as short and as sweet as much as possible. And that's the reason why you do keyword research, because with keyword research, you know the exact keyword that you are trying to target for. So you can see over here, this is the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcription. Just by the looks of it, almost 100%, I'm sure that there is, not almost 100%, but I'm almost sure that there is no search volume for the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcriptions. Now, people might be looking for different verbatim transcriptions, right? They might be looking for verbatim transcriptions, right? But the amount of people looking for the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcription is not going to be that many. So ideally, you want to do keyword research. And if you find a keyword, you want to map it. And how you map it, it's first of all, from the URL structure, you want to change it to something like this, provided if this is your keyword, right? Verbatim transcription. So this fits the best practice of having your content as short and as sweet as much as possible. So this is the first level, right? The URL level. With URL, the general best practice is if you look at a site that have very long URL, most of the time you know that this page is not keyword optimized. It's not really optimized in terms of on page. So so that is the first level. The second level is your title. So with this title is okay, because the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcription, this is fine. What I like to do is I like to make my title below 60 characters. Okay, and the reason why is because let me see if this happens. Okay, if I change this to, okay, this is fine. So in this case, you can see this is the page title, right? The ultimate guide to understanding different blah blah blah, the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcription. So you can see this page title is not truncated. Okay, truncation means it's going to be something like this, where it's ... You can see these 3 dots over here, ... So ideally, you want to give customers, but you want to give potential visitors all the information that they can have. And if it's truncated, they're going to have to guess, and you don't want them to do that. You want to give them as much as you can, as clear as possible, the information that you want to give it to them. So in this case, you can see the ultimate guide to understanding different verbatim transcriptions. You can see over here it's 69 characters, so this is okay. So ideally you want to keep this below 60 characters, okay? And the reason why is because of the pixel width. So if it falls out of a certain pixel width, I forget what is it, if you don't want to, you don't have to worry about, what's the pixel and stuff. Just make sure that most of your page titles, as much as you can, keep it below 60 characters, because that will fit the pixel width of Google unless they change, right? So in this case, you want to keep it below 60. So in this case, you can see 69 characters is still not being truncated, which is fine. But if you do it for another page, and let's say, for example, you have a caps lock. So if you have certain caps lock there, or more letters that takes up more pixel width, having 69 characters will be truncated. So if you don't want it to be sort of like a guessing game where you don't know whether is it going to be truncated or not, you want to take that chance. I don't. Just keep it below 60 characters. So that's first. Secondly, the title is fine, but what I like to do is, once you get your keyword that you are mapping it to, you want to make sure that it's, as much as you can, flush it towards the left of the page title. So let's say, for example, in this case, if you do some sort of keyword research and you find the keyword that you're mapping this page to, let's say, for example, if it's verbatim transcriptions, right? You want to try as much as you can flush it to the left. Now, is this a compulsory thing? Is this a must? No, it is not. Okay? And with SEO, it's a lot of times it's about implementing something and then waiting, giving it time for Google to, do its work. And then if it doesn't get where you want to be, then you optimize it again. Okay, so in this instance, what you want to do is, for example, if this page, the keyword that you're trying to target is verbatim transcriptions, right? Let's just say, for example, it's verbatim transcriptions. What I would do, it's because this is an existing page, I'll leave it as it is. Okay, and if Google doesn't show up, if Google doesn't put this page on on a search engine, when I search for verbatim transcriptions, that is where I will change things up. I will change the page title, and I will flush verbatim transcriptions towards the left, and then I'll put something like verbatim transcriptions, and then a colon. So if I were to rewrite this, right? Okay, so you put verbatim. Okay, I don't know how to spell, I'm just gonna copy. Okay, instead of this, I'll be putting something like verbatim transcriptions. Verbatim transcriptions. Understanding the ultimate guide to understanding them, for example, right? And okay, I will change it to something like this, provided if it's less than 60 characters. Now, if it's not less than 60 characters, then I will, change it a bit so that it's less than 60 characters. Okay, so then once this is done, you go to Google Search Console and you submit this URL to ping Google to let them know that there's some changes that's being done. So that is how I'll do it for page titles. Okay, now it's 25 minutes, so I want to keep this as valuable as possible and give you as much information as as much value as possible. So I'm gonna move on to the next one. I kind of want to go back to the page because there's a lot of things that I can say here. So the next thing you want to look at is the description. So now you can see the description. Now, description also kind of fits a little bit of page titles. With page titles, you want to keep it below 60 characters. so that it doesn't get truncated. Description is around the same. You don't want it to be truncated. You want to give users exactly what they can see. So essentially, you are not allowing people to think of or make guesses of what this could be. You want to give them 100% information so that they can, so they can make use of that meta description to entice them to click. So with meta description, you want to keep it below 155 characters. Okay, and most of the time, again, you can kind of like pass, say for example, if you have 160 characters, sometimes it's probably okay. If you are more than 165, sometimes it's okay. But again, that depends on the copy of the description. Because if it takes up more, if certain letters takes up more pixel width, having 160 characters on one meta description will not be truncated, whereas for another instance, it could be truncated. So if you want to take out all the guesswork and you just want to make sure that your description is not truncated, just keep it below 155 characters. So that's first. Secondly, you want to make sure that your meta description is clickable in a way. So there's a few ways to go about it depending on the type of content. So in this case, because this is the ultimate guide, right? So what usually I will do is I will give them kind of I could probably make another whole video about meta description, but you basically give them some kind of pain point, and then your solution, which is this piece of article. So let me see if I can do that within like 2 to 3 minutes. So verbatim transcriptions are readable copies of spoken words, and they're helpful learning tools for 2/3 of students, right? So you could change it to something like having trouble understanding let me see if I can do it now. Okay, what I like to do is let me see if I can do this within 2 minutes. Blah blah blah. Verbatim translation are readable copies of spoken words, and they're helpful learning tools. Okay, another way that you can do this is you can give them clear cut what this topic is about, and a call to action. So for example, in this case, I can kind of merge this to do helpful learning tools there. Verbatim translation are helpful learning tools for over 2/3. Here's the ultimate guide. Here's the ultimate guide to understanding them. Okay, and this, it's probably going to be less than, this is probably going to be less than 155 characters. So you can see 132 characters. So this is very little. This is not more than 155. So this is one check mark. Now, this is not the first. You can leave this as is, but usually what I do is I want to, optimize this a little bit more. Here's the ultimate guide. Say for example, by experts. You want to give some sort of authority, right? Because there is 155 characters, and if you can, the keyword here is optimize. You want to optimize, and with optimization, it's always about one-upping. Is this the best? If it's the best, leave it as is. If there's other important things that you can do, leave it as is. But if you feel that this could be better, then you want to one-up it. You want to optimize it. So in this case, just by adding by experts, right, you're giving some sort of authority. Okay, here's the ultimate guide by, here's the, say for example, here's the updated ultimate guide to understand, right? So this is a little bit to do with copy. So with that being said, now that is as much as I can do within 30 minutes. I hope you like this, and there's probably a lot more things that that can be found here, but that is all I can do for 30 minutes. Hope you like this video, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Cheers.